The words sliced through the chaotic symphony of announcements and rolling suitcases like a knife through butter. "Stop acting gay, Alexander. You're making a scene, and it's time you grew up." His mother's voice trembled with a mix of fury and desperation, her perfectly manicured hand clutching his father's arm as they stood in the middle of Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, oblivious to the stares from hurried travelers. Alex froze, his backpack slung over one shoulder, the weight of his entire future in New York City pressing down on him heavier than the bag itself. He was 18, fresh out of high school in their suffocating suburb of Naperville, Illinois, and this was supposed to be his escape, a one-way ticket to freedom, to a life where he didn't have to hide the boy who made his heart race in secret. But before he could summon the words to fire back, a shrill beep pierced the air, and a stern-faced TSA officer waved him toward the screaming lane, her gloved hand already rummaging through his carry-on. "Step aside, sir," she said, her voice flat and procedural. Alex's stomach dropped as she pulled out a small, taped-shut envelope that he swore he'd never seen before. It was tucked deep in a side pocket, the kind of hiding spot only someone who knew his bag inside out would choose. His father's eyes widened for a split second, too quick for most to notice, before narrowing into a mask of feigned shock. "What's that?" the officer demanded, slicing the tape with a utility knife. Inside tumbled a stack of crisp $100 bills, bundled tight with a rubber band, alongside a folded note that read, in blocky print, "For the road. Don't come back until you're fixed." The airport blurred into a haze of fluorescent lights and muffled gasps from onlookers. Alex's mind reeled. His family, the same people who'd baked him apple pie for his birthday last week, had planted this. Cash, enough to look like dirty money from some illicit deal, enough to get him arrested, detained, anything to derail his flight, and drag him back to their version of normal. I don't know where that came from," he stammered, his voice cracking as his sister, Emily, averted her eyes, her phone glued to her hand like a shield. His father stepped forward, all bluster and righteousness. "Officer, our son has been troubled lately, running with the wrong crowd. This isn't surprising." Troubled. The word landed like a punch to the gut, echoing the whispers that had haunted him since sophomore year, when he'd mustered the courage to tell them about Jordan, the quiet artist from art class who'd kissed him under the bleachers after prom. That confession had shattered their perfect facade, turning family dinners into interrogations, his bedroom into a prison of locked doors and sidelong glances. Now, here they were, weaponizing it in public, their love twisted into a noose. The officer's radio crackled, calling for backup, and Alex felt the ground tilt. This wasn't just embarrassment, it was betrayal, raw and premeditated. As handcuffs clicked around his wrists, loose at first, a courtesy that felt like mockery, Alex scanned the crowd for an ally, anyone who saw the lie etched in his family's rigid postures. That's when he locked eyes with him, a man in his early 20s, leaning against a pillar with a leather messenger bag at his feet, his dark curls tousled just so, hazel eyes sharp with something that looked dangerously like recognition. He wasn't rushing to a gate. He was watching, really watching, and in that frozen second, Alex saw a flicker of his own hidden pain mirrored back. The man, Jamie, though Alex didn't know it yet, pushed off the wall, weaving through the growing circle of gawkers with the quiet determination of someone who'd been the spectacle before. "Officer," Jamie said, his voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of steel. "Mind if I ask what's going on here? I'm a paralegal with the ACLU, saw the whole thing from over there." He nodded toward the coffee stand, where a half-empty latte steamed on the counter. The TSA woman paused, her hand hovering over her notepad, caught off guard by the interruption. Alex's mother bristled. "This is a family matter. Stay out of it." But Jamie didn't flinch. He met her gaze evenly, then turned to Alex, offering a small, almost imperceptible nod that said, "I've got you." What followed was a whirlwind of questions and half-truths. The envelope confiscated as evidence, Alex shuttled to a holding room that smelled of stale pretzels and industrial cleaner. His family lingered outside the glass partition, his father barking at a supervisor about rights, while Emily texted furiously, probably spinning the story for her sorority sisters back home. Alone with the officer and Jamie, who flashed a badge that looked legit enough to buy time, Alex spilled it all, The planted cash, the suffocating closet they'd forced him into, the way his heart had cracked open when he realized love wasn't a sin but a survival instinct. Jamie listened, jotting notes on a crumpled napkin, his pen moving in quick, assured strokes. "They did this to stop you from leaving," he said softly when the officer stepped out to call her supervisor. "Classic control tactic. But you're not alone in this, Alex. I know because, well, I was you, 3 years ago in Atlanta. Family thought prayer camp would cure me. It didn't." His smile was wry, tinged with old scars, but his eyes held a warmth that thawed the ice in Alex's chest. For the first time that day, Alex breathed, not just air, but possibility. By the time the airport police arrived, Jamie had lawyered up the situation, citing unlawful detainment and potential tampering with evidence. The cash was logged, but no charges stuck. Not yet, thanks to the lack of priors and Jamie's silver tongue. "Go," the lead officer finally grunted, uncuffing Alex with a shrug. "But stick around if we need a statement." Alex nodded numbly, rubbing his wrists, as his family was escorted away for questioning, their protests fading down the terminal. Jamie walked him to a quieter gate lounge, the kind with overpriced chairs and fake plants. "You okay?" he asked, handing Alex a water bottle from a vending machine. Okay was a joke, but the gesture cracked something open. "Not really," Alex admitted, his voice raw. "They were supposed to drop me off, wave goodbye like normal parents. Instead, this." He gestured vaguely at the world, the weight of unspoken years pressing in. Jamie sat beside him, close but not invading, his knee brushing Alex's in a way that sent a spark up his spine. Innocent, electric. Normal's overrated, especially when it means hiding who you are. He paused, glancing at the departure board. "Flight to New York, right? I'm headed there too, visiting my sister. Columbia Law. If you want company on the plane, I mean. No pressure." Alex searched his face, hunting for pity or agenda, but found only sincerity, the kind that bloomed from shared shadows. "Yeah," he said, the word tasting like the first step out of a nightmare. "I'd like that." As they boarded together hours later, after endless forms and a stern warning from airport security, the plane's hum became a lullaby, Jamie's quiet stories of his own fractured family weaving a bridge over the chasm of Alex's doubt. Little did Alex know, this chance encounter was the thread that would unravel everything he thought he knew about love, loyalty, and the monsters we call home. But for now, in the dim cabin light, with Jamie's hand steady on the armrest between them, Alex allowed himself to believe in second chances. The city lights of Chicago shrank below, a glittering reminder of what he'd fled, and the hidden truths still waiting to surface. The ascent into the night sky felt like shedding skin, layer by layer, until Alex could almost convince himself the envelope, the handcuffs, the venomous words were just a bad dream. Jamie shifted in his window seat, pulling out a dog-eared copy of Giovanni's Room from his bag. "Ever read Baldwin?" he asked, the title glinting under the overhead light. Alex shook his head, too wired to focus on pages, but the gesture, the casual offering of a story about hidden desires and Paris nights, felt like an invitation to something deeper. "Tell me about New York," Alex said instead, needing distraction from the replay in his mind. His mother's pinched lips, his father's averted gaze. Jamie leaned in, his voice a low rumble over the engines. "It's chaos, but the good kind. Street vendors hawking falafel at midnight, drag shows in basements that make you forget your name, pride parades that shut down the island." His eyes lit up, painting pictures of rainbow flags snapping in the wind, and Alex hung on every word, the ache in his chest easing into a tentative curiosity. Jamie wasn't just kind. He was alive in a way Alex had only glimpsed in online forums, late-night scrolls through queer subreddits where anonymity masked the fear. By the time the captain announced descent into LaGuardia, they'd swapped numbers, Jamie insisting on it with a grin that crinkled his eyes, and Alex stepped off the plane feeling lighter, the city's electric pulse humming through the jetway. "Crash at my sister's place tonight," Jamie offered as they navigated the throng of taxis and weary travelers. "She's got a pull-out couch and killer coffee. No strings." Alex hesitated, the echo of his family's fix still ringing, but nodded. What was one more leap? Manhattan unfolded like a fever dream, skyscrapers clawing at the stars, horns blaring in a symphony of impatience. Jamie's sister, Lena, lived in a pre-war walk-up in the East Village, walls plastered with protest posters and bookshelves sagging under tomes on civil rights. She greeted them with hugs and a bottle of red wine, her laugh booming as she sized up Alex. "Another stray, Jamie? You're collecting them like Pokemon." Jamie rolled his eyes, but the fondness was palpable, a sibling bond forged in fire. Lena, the out-and-proud lesbian who'd shielded her little brother from their Bible Belt parents' wrath. That night, as rain pattered against the fire escape, Alex lay on the lumpy couch, staring at water stains on the ceiling. Sleep evaded him, chased by what-ifs. What if security had pressed charges? What if his family followed through on threats to cut him off? His phone buzzed, a text from Emily, the first crack in their united front. "Dad's pissed. Mom's crying. Call us." He deleted it, thumb hovering over Jamie's contact instead. "Thanks for today. Feels like I can breathe here." The reply came swift. "You were breathing before. Just needed air that doesn't choke you. Night, Alex." Morning brought bagels and lox, Lena grilling him gently over breakfast about his airport drama. Turns out she was a social worker, specializing in LGBTQ youth. Her story's a balm to Alex's frayed nerves. "Families like yours," she said, buttering a sesame roll. "They're scared. Of losing control, of what your truth says about their lies. But that envelope? That's not love. That's sabotage." Jamie nodded, pouring coffee, his presence a quiet anchor. By noon, they'd bundled him into the subway, careening through tunnels that smelled of metal and possibility, toward his dorm at NYU Tisch, where film studies awaited like a blank reel begging for his story. Check-in was a blur of keycards and overeager RAs, but as Alex unpacked in his shoebox room, posters of indie flicks curling at the edges, doubt crept back. His scholarship covered tuition, but living expenses? Zilch, especially with his bank account frozen pending the airport investigation. A knock startled him. Jamie, holding a pizza box and a stack of flyers for queer film nights. "Figured you'd need fuel." And allies. They ate cross-legged on the bare mattress, talking cinema. Alex's obsession with Hitchcock's tension, Jamie's love for Almodovar's raw hearts. Laughter came easy, surprising Alex, who hadn't realized how parched he was for it. But the idyll shattered that evening, as sirens wailed outside, and his phone lit up with voicemails from an unknown Chicago number. "Alexander, this is Detective Ruiz. We need you to come in regarding the incident at O'Hare. Your family's pressing charges, claims you stole the money from them." Alex's blood ran cold, the slice of pepperoni turning to ash in his mouth. Jamie's face darkened. "Stole? That's bullshit. They planted it." He paced, dialing Lena, who promised to loop in a contact at Lambda Legal. But as Alex stared at the screen, Emily's earlier text morphing into a flood of missed calls, he felt the past clawing him back. The next days blurred into a storm of emails and affidavits, Jamie becoming his unofficial lawyer, pouring over case law in the dim glow of library lamps. Alex threw himself into orientation, syllabi on screenwriting, professors with accents like velvet, but the undercurrent of fear gnawed. Whispers followed him in the halls. New kid with the family drama. One night, after a particularly brutal voicemail from his father, "Come home, son, before you ruin us all," Alex broke, tears hot on his cheeks as he confessed to Jamie over cheap takeout. "They think I'm broken. That loving who I love makes me less." Jamie set down his chopsticks, hand finding Alex's across the greasy tablecloth. "You're not less. You're you, fierce, funny, with eyes that see stories in the cracks." His thumb brushed Alex's knuckles, a touch so feather-light it ignited stars. Time stretched, the room shrinking to just them, until Jamie pulled back, clearing his throat. "Sorry. Boundaries." But the air hummed with unspoken what could best, a tension sweeter than any kiss. Twists came fast. A subpoena arrived, demanding Alex return to Chicago for a hearing. Lena booked the flight, Jamie insisting on tagging along. Moral support, nothing more. On the red-eye, exhaustion loosened tongues. Jamie shared fragments of his own unraveling. Coming out at 16, the church shunning, the boyfriend who'd bailed when things got real. "Love's messy," he said, head lolling against Alex's shoulder. But worth the wreckage. Alex's heart stuttered, the proximity a drug, but he held still, savoring the fragile trust. Back in the Windy City, the courthouse loomed like a monolith, his family arrayed on the prosecutor's side, mother pale and drawn, father stone-faced, Emily fidgeting with her necklace. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with silver streaks, heard the motions. Theft charges, a slapdash case built on the envelope, and witness statements from relatives swearing Alex had anger issues. Jamie, squeezed into a borrowed suit, cross-examined with surgical precision, exposing timeline holes. How the cash serial numbers matched his father's safe deposit box, per bank records Lena had pulled. But the Real bomb dropped during recess, when Emily cornered Alex in the hallway, her voice a whisper shout. "It's not what you think. Dad, he did it to scare you, but Mom stopped him from going further. She made me promise not to say." Alex reeled, betrayal fracturing into confusion. His mother, the architect of Sunday school lessons on sin? As testimony resumed, she took the stand, voice quavering. I hid it. To keep him here. Because I can't lose my boy to that city, to those people." The courtroom gasped, the judge's gavel cracking like thunder. Charges dismissed, but the emotional shrapnel lingered. Outside, rain slicked the steps, Alex's family scattering like leaves. Jamie waited under an awning, umbrella in hand. "You good?" Alex shook his head, words failing, and Jamie pulled him into a hug, solid, unyielding. "Then neither am I. Let's get you home." Home. New York, classes, the life he clawed for. But as the cab splashed through puddles, Alex wondered if the hidden thing wasn't just cash, but the love they'd buried under fear. Theirs for him, and maybe his for the man beside him. Weeks melted into the frenetic rhythm of fall semester, leaves carpeting Washington Square Park in crimson and gold as Alex dove headfirst into scripts and storyboards. The airport fiasco faded to a scar, occasionally itching when tuition bills arrived or when Emily's sporadic texts pinged. "Miss you. Mom's in therapy." He replied in fits, parcels of forgiveness wrapped in caution, but his world tilted toward the new, late-night edits in the film lab, where fluorescent buzz masked the thrill of creation, and Jamie, whose visits blurred the line between friend and something perilously more. Jamie commuted from Brooklyn, his own grind at a nonprofit juggling pro bono cases for queer asylum seekers. They'd meet at Washington Mews, a hidden gem of ivy-clad houses where cobblestones whispered secrets, sharing falafel wraps and dissecting plot twists. "Your short film's got Hitchcock vibes," Jamie said one crisp October evening, as they strolled under gas lamps flickering like fireflies. "That scene with the shadowed figure. It's you, isn't it? Chasing ghosts." Alex flushed, the insight too intimate, but nodded. The film, a 10-minute vignette about a boy fleeing a burning house, was catharsis on celluloid, every frame an exorcism of O'Hare's fluorescence. Yet shadows lingered. A campus screening invite arrived, his first public show, and panic bloomed. What if his family saw? What if the vulnerability on screen invited more judgment? Jamie sensed it, dragging him to a dive bar in the village for pre-game nerves. Over whiskey sours, Alex's first, burning sweet, they traded vulnerabilities. Jamie's fear of commitment, rooted in a high school love that ended in a bathroom stall fistfight. Alex's dread of rejection, etched by years of mirrors avoided. "You're braver than you know," Jamie murmured, their knees knocking under the scarred table. The air thickened, charged, until a rowdy toast from the next booth shattered it. They laughed it off, but the seed was planted, roots twisting toward light. The screening night crackled with energy, dim auditorium, the scent of popcorn and anticipation. Alex's film unspooled, the boy's sprint from flames mirroring his own dash through security lines, applause swelling like a wave. Backstage, adrenaline high, he found Jamie in the crowd, eyes shining. Killed it. A hug turned lingering, breaths mingling, until Alex pulled back, heart hammering. "Walk me home." The streets pulsed with post-show buzz, confetti from a nearby wedding swirling at their feet. At his dorm steps, under a sliver of moon, Alex turned. "Jamie, words tangled, but Jamie's hand cupped his cheek, thumb tracing jawline. Their lips met, soft, tentative, then deepening with the hunger of withheld storms. Fireworks, not literal but felt, exploding in chests. Dating bloomed quietly, fiercely. Coffee runs at dawn before lectures. Jamie's head on Alex's lap during moonlight marathons. Whispers of futures amid the clatter of subways. But tension simmered beneath. Emily called, voice brittle. Mom wants to visit. For real this time. Therapy's helping. Alex's gut twisted. Forgiveness, a jagged pill. He agreed, against Jamie's wary counsel, setting boundaries like tripwires. Neutral ground, no sermons. Thanksgiving loomed, but Alex opted for Lena's ragtag feast. Queer found family in her loft, tables groaning with turkey and tofurkey, stories ricocheting like pinballs. Jamie carved the bird with mock solemnity, his family, now Alex's too. Yet midway through pie, a knock echoed. His mother, unannounced, coat dusted with snow, eyes red-rimmed. I had to see you. The room hushed, forks pausing. Lena rose, gracious but firm. Come in, but we're doing this right. No judgments. Mrs. Harlan, Claire, she'd insisted, sat awkwardly, clutching a bakery box like a shield. I brought your favorite. Pecan. Conversation stuttered. Weather, classes, the film she'd somehow streamed online. It was beautiful, Claire said, voice small. Painful, but you. Alex's throat tightened. This was the woman who'd hidden cash to cage him, yet here she was, unraveling. Jamie squeezed his hand under the table, a lifeline. As plates cleared, Claire confessed fragments. Her own youth, a college crush on a roommate buried under marriage and Midwest mores. I didn't know how to love you through it. Feared you'd suffer what I denied myself. Tears fell, and Alex's followed, a dam breaking. Not absolution, but a start. Embrace awkward, laced with ifs. Winter descended, blanketing the city in hush. Alex and Jamie navigated the new intimacy. First, I love you's exchanged over hot cider in Central Park, skates wobbling on ice as laughter echoed. But cracks spiderwebbed. Jamie's ex, Marcus, resurfaced, a charismatic activist with a TED Talk and lingering claims, texting miss our fire. Jamie brushed it off, but Alex saw the flinch, the old wounds reopening. Insecurities flared. Alex, the newcomer doubting his place. Jamie, haunted by patterns of flight. Climax brewed at a pride-planning mixer. Jamie volunteering, Alex tagging along. Marcus cornered them, charm weaponized. Still playing house. Jay? Alex looks sweet, but can he handle the fight? Words like barbs, dredging Alex's airport shame. Jamie defended, voice steel, but later, in the cold walk home, doubt festered. He's wrong, Jamie said. You're my fight. But Alex pulled away, fears whispering not enough. A week of radio silence stretched, texts unread, until a blizzard trapped Jamie at Alex's door, soaked and stubborn. Don't run from us because of him. We're your family. We're the twist neither saw coming. Reconciliation scorched. Arguments yielding to truths. Bodies close, but chaste. Hearts bared. I love you, Alex whispered, flaws and all. Jamie's kiss sealed it, fierce with promise. Spring thawed reservations. Claire visited again, meeting Jamie over brunch, her approval tentative but growing. Emily arrived for graduation, cheering loudest, a bridge mending. Yet the ultimate turn waited. A letter from Detective Ruiz, case closed, but with an addendum. The envelope's note, traced to Claire's handwriting, led to family counseling mandates. More, a hidden safe in the Harlan home, uncovered during a welfare check, holding not just cash but letters, Claire's to her lost love, decades old, echoing Alex's pain. You weren't the first, she wrote later. You were my redemption. Graduation cap sailed, Alex's feature script optioned by an indie producer, Jamie proposing grad school together. On a rooftop at dusk, city sprawling below, they toasted, to survivals, to loves unearthed. The airport was a memory, its hidden thing the catalyst for unburying hearts. No, wait, that was too neat. The real surprise lingered in the afterglow, as Alex's phone buzzed. An unknown sender, a photo of his father at a discreet meeting, hand in hand with a man. The family secret, the ultimate hypocrisy, threatening to upend it all. But with Jamie's arm around him, Alex smiled. Twists weren't endings. They were invitations to rewrite. Summer unfurled in sticky heat waves, the city a steam bath of construction and street fairs, but for Alex and Jamie, it was a season of solidifying. Lazy afternoons scripting in air-conditioned cafes, evenings at rooftop bars where skyline toasts blurred into stolen kisses. The photo from the unknown Cinder gnawed at Alex, a digital ghost he hadn't shared yet, fearing it would fracture the fragile peace with his mother. Claire's letters had opened doors, her weekly calls a ritual of halting honesty, but his father remained a cipher, radio silent since the courthouse debacle. Give it time, Jamie advised during a picnic in Prospect Park, grapes dangling from his fingers as he fed Alex one. Healing's not linear. But linearity was a luxury Alex couldn't afford. His short film caught festival buzz, a Sundance nod, whispers of distribution, and suddenly, interviews beckoned, spotlights probing his personal inspiration. The Burning House, a podcaster pressed over Zoom. Is that metaphor for coming out? Alex hedged, heart pounding, until Jamie, off camera, mouthed truth. It's about running toward light, he said finally, even when the ones who should hold it try to snuff it out. The clip went viral in queer media circles, likes pouring in alongside DMs, support, mostly, but trolls too, dredging the airport story with doctored headlines. Filmmaker's felony flee to fame. Jamie fielded the fallout, his nonprofit cred lending weight to op-eds decrying family weaponization. Yet privately, tension simmered. Marcus's shadow loomed. A joint panel on queer rights forced proximity, Marcus's barbs veiled as banter. Alex, right? Jamie's latest project. Hope you're more plot than subplot. Laughter rippled, but Alex seethed, later confronting Jamie in their shared sublet, a cramped but cozy one-bedroom they'd impulsively leased. Is that what I am? A rebound reel? Jamie's face crumpled. No, God, no. Marcus's echo, your symphony. They argued through midnight, voices raw, until exhaustion yielded apologies, bodies curling together in truce. Vulnerability bonded them deeper, but scars itched. Emily's visit in July was a balm and a burr. She'd dyed her hair blue, a tentative rebellion, and crashed on their futon, peppering questions about city life with wide-eyed awe. It's so free here. Over dim sum, she broached the elephant. Dad's different. Distant. Mom thinks he's seeing someone. Alex's pulse spiked, the photo burning in his pocket. Forwarded from the mystery sender, time-stamped at a Chicago lounge known for discreet after-hours. He showed her, breath held. Emily paled. That's Uncle Ray? No, wait. Dad's best friend from college. The pieces slotted. Decades of golf trips, late nights at the den, the business that kept his father away. Hypocrisy incarnate. Don't tell Mom, Emily pleaded, but Alex's resolve hardened. She deserves truth, like she gave me hers. Jamie backed him, driving the rental car to Naperville under a sky bruised with thunder. Claire answered the door in pearls and apron, flour-dusted from pie-making, an echo of childhood Sundays. Tea in the sunroom turned interrogation, the photos splayed on the table, accusations hanging heavy. Robert, Claire whispered, hand to mouth. All these years. Sobs followed, not just grief but rage, at the lies, the life unlived beside her own suppressed longings. Robert, his father, arrived mid-storm, face ashen, denials crumbling under evidence. It was nothing, he blustered, then softer, everything. But I couldn't. For you girls, the church. The reckoning stretched hours, voices rising and falling like waves. Alex stood firm. You tried to jail me for loving, while hiding your own. Robert deflated, a man unmasked. Admitting the envelope was panic. Fear of Alex's freedom exposing his cage. I thought if I kept you here. Claire reached for his hand, a triad of pain forging unlikely empathy. Emily mediated, her blue hair a flag of change. By dawn, no villains, just humans, flawed, fracturing toward mending. Robert's voice broke. I love you, son. All of you. I'm sorry. Hugs followed, tentative, the first real ones in years. Back in New York, the catharsis fueled Alex's script, a feature on inherited secrets, queerness as legacy. Jamie read drafts by lamplight, suggestions sharp but loving. This father's arc, it's redemptive without erasing hurt. Brilliant. Their rhythm deepened, mornings tangled in sheets, coffee brewing as they plotted dual careers. Alex's cinema dreams, Jamie's advocacy fire. But autumn brought a curveball. Marcus, exposed in a scandal, misusing donor funds, lashing out with leaks, twisting the airport tale into fodder for a smear campaign against Jamie's org. Payback, Jamie muttered, scrolling headlines. Stress etched lines around his eyes, distance creeping into dinners. Alex pushed back, organizing a counter-event, a queer story slam at a local theater, testimonies weaving resilience. On stage, heart thumping, he shared the envelope, the photo, the hugs, raw, unscripted. Crowd roared, Jamie in front row, tears glistening. Backstage, embrace fierce, you saved me tonight. Love, reaffirmed, but whispers of doubt. Could they weather bigger storms? Winter holidays tested it. Claire and Robert invited them to Chicago, neutral, hopeful. The house, once mausoleum, buzzed with garlands and gingerbread. Emily arrived with a boyfriend, tiptoeing out as bi, met with surprised but warm nods. Dinners crackled with stories, Robert's college fumblings, Claire's roommate tales, history reclaimed. On Christmas Eve, snow blanketing the yard, Alex and Jamie walked the block, mittens linked. This, Alex said, gesturing. It's messy, but ours. Jamie stopped, breath fogging. Marry me? Not now, but someday. The question hung. A promise. Alex's yes a whisper into wind. Spring bloomed with premieres. Alex's feature at Tribeca, standing ovations. Jamie's panel keynoting national conference. But the twist, the mystery Cinder revealed. Robert, anonymous atonement, forwarding the photo to force his own hand. I needed the push, he admitted over brunch. Laughter followed, bittersweet. Emily's wedding loomed, small, inclusive, and Alex walked her aisle, pride swelling. Yet climax crested in summer heat. A call from Lena, Jamie's parents, long estranged, surfacing after his viral defense of Alex. They want reconciliation. Jamie froze, old terrors rising. Alex held space, therapy sessions joint, unearthing Atlanta ashes. The meeting, in a quiet diner, was earthquake, apologies stammered, faith recast as allyship. Not perfect, but progress. As leaves turned again, Alex and Jamie stood on their fire escape, city humming below. From airports to this, Alex mused. Jamie's arm tightened. Hidden things lead to found ones. Love, deep as oceans, carried them forward, through prejudices shed, misunderstandings mended, into a narrative all their own. The second anniversary of the airport incident dawned gray and drizzly, a fitting veil for reflection as Alex sipped coffee on the fire escape, script pages fluttering in the breeze. 2 years, enough time to turn trauma into testimony. The envelope, now a prop in his TEDx talk on queer family dynamics, met with nods and notes from strangers who'd lived parallel pains. Jamie, ever the anchor, surprised him with tickets to LA for a pitch meeting with a streaming giant eyeing his feature for series adaptation. Your story's going places, he said, kissing Alex's temple. Ours too. California's sun burned away Midwestern gloom, palm trees swaying like metronomes to deal-making beats. The execs loved the twists, familial hypocrisies, redemptive arcs, greenlighting with caveats. Lean into the romance. Audiences eat that up. Alex chafed at the commodification, but Jamie's grin over vegan tacos eased it. It's fuel for more stories. Real ones. Nights in hotel suites stretched lazy, bodies entwined in lazy exploration, not urgent, but reverent, mapping scars and sighs. I never thought I'd have this, Alex confessed one dawn, fingers tracing Jamie's collarbone. A love that sees me. Jamie's reply was a vow unspoken, eyes promising forever. Back east, equilibrium shifted. Claire and Robert's marriage counseling unearthed more, his father's quiet donations to PFLAG, her volunteer shifts at a local youth center for trans kids. Emily's engagement flourished, her fiancé a soft-spoken graphic designer who baked better pies than Claire. Family video calls became staple, awkwardness yielding to inside jokes. Robert even binging Alex's film with not bad, kid gruffness. Yet beneath the mending, undercurrents swirled. Jamie's promotion at the nonprofit meant longer hours, cases stacking like Jenga. Immigration pleas, custody battles. leaving Alex to solitary evenings, doubts whispering, is this sustainable? A workshop retreat in the Catskills tested it. Alex invited, Jamie begged off for a deadline. Solitude amid pines sharpened focus, peers dissecting his latest draft, a thriller laced with queer subtext, protagonists unraveling corporate closets. But isolation bred phantoms. A fellow writer, charismatic with a poet's lilt, flirted over bonfires, compliments veering personal. Your vulnerability's magnetic. Alex rebuffed gently, loyalty ironclad. But the encounter stirred unease. Texting Jamie felt needy, replies delayed by court marathons. Miss you. Cabin fever. Miss you more. Home soon. Reunion sparked friction. Jamie, exhausted, misread Alex's recount as deflection. Just friends. Over wine, voices escalated, trust tested, fears of abandonment aired. Marcus was chaos. You're steady, Jamie admitted. But I fear I'll drag you down. Alex cupped his face. We're the updraft. Makeup meandered slow, trust rebuilt brick by brick, culminating in a weekend getaway to Fire Island. Beaches thrumming with queer joy, dunes hiding whispers. There, under stars pricked like sequins, Jamie knelt. Marry me. For real. Ring simple, silver band etched with coordinates of O'Hare. Alex's yes tear-streaked, joyous. Wedding planning wove whimsy and weight. Small, June affair in Central Park, under a canopy of oaks. Invites went broad, Claire and Robert RSVPing with tentative dates. Emily as maid of honor, Lena officiating with a reverent flair. But Robert's health scare, a mild heart episode, stress-fueled, halted momentum. Hospital vigils in Chicago bridged gaps. Alex at bedside, holding a hand once clenched in judgment. Proud of you, Robert rasped, monitors beeping benediction. Recovery stretched months, forcing postponement, but deepened bonds. Jamie bonding with Robert over baseball, unexpected camaraderie. Meanwhile, Alex's series greenlit, filming commencing in Toronto, 6 weeks away. Distance loomed, a specter revisited. Sets buzzed, directors barking cues, co-stars bantering. Alex's character a composite of selves, defiant creator navigating betrayals. Chemistry read-throughs with his on-screen love interest, a rising actor named Theo, sparked tabloid fodder. New York's queer power couple? Paparazzi flashes at rap parties fueled it. Jamie's texts laced with wry emojis, but underlying strain. Theo's got that jawline, one joked. Alex called nightly. It's pixels. Your flesh. Twist erupted mid-shoot. A leaked script page, twisted online into glorifying family abuse. Backlash hit. Petitions, think pieces decrying trauma porn. Alex spiraled, producers panicking, until Jamie flew north, storming the production office with data. Queer media's role in normalization. This isn't exploitation, it's exorcism. His fire reignited Alex's. Joint interviews reframing the narrative. Love as rebellion, stories as salve. Ratings soared upon release, critics hailing a tender gut punch. Return to New York healed divides. Rescheduled wedding approached, guests assembling like puzzle pieces. Rehearsal dinner hummed, Claire toasting with champagne flutes. To hidden truths that set us free. Vows exchanged at dawn, sun gilding the betrothal. Alex's promise of seeing your shadows, loving the light. Jamie's of building homes from ruins. Rings exchanged, kisses sealed under cheers. Honeymoon in Provincetown. Whale watches, lobster boils, whispered futures, adopting, perhaps, or fostering the youth Claire now championed. But the final surprise waited in mail. A package from the mystery sender. No, from Emily, containing the original envelope, repurposed as a time capsule. Letters from all, affirmations of growth. We hid to hurt, her note read. Now we reveal to heal. Years later, at their Brooklyn brownstone, with a rescue dog snoring by the fire, Alex screened his latest for family, grand now, with Emily's twins wide-eyed. The airport, once abyss, was lore, a hook that hooked them all into grace. Decades turn brought silver threads to curls, laugh lines etching maps of mirth and mayhem, but the core held. Alex and Jamie, architects of a life stitched from salvaged threads. The series spawned seasons, Emmy nods, a pivot to directing that saw Alex helming docs on queer elders, voices long silenced now amplified. Jamie climbed to executive director, his org a beacon for nationwide advocacy, boardrooms bent to his blend of fire and finesse. Their home, a sunlit row house in Bed-Stuy, echoed with gatherings. Potlucks where Claire's pies vied with Lena's experimental curries. Robert's stories of back in my day met with gentle eye rolls from the twins, now teens navigating their own crushes. Parenthood came late, deliberate. A foster son, Mateo, 12 and fierce, placed after a raid on his undocumented family's apartment. His arrival cracked them open anew. Bedtime tales of superheroes who saved themselves, school runs laced with "that's not fair" debates on identity. Mateo, with his gap-toothed grin and soccer cleats, asked once, "Were you scared like me when you came here?" Alex knelt, honest, terrified, but loves the map out. Jamie added, "And family's the compass, blood or chosen." Holidays swelled, Emily's crew blending seamless. Robert teaching Mateo, fly fishing on lazy Sundays. Claire's therapy wisdom guiding tough talks. Challenges persisted, evolution's tax. A political shift, midterms souring with anti-LGBTQ bills, thrust Jamie into front lines, testimonies in D.C. draining him hollow. Alex balanced sets with Homefront, but resentment simmered. We're partners, not pit stops. Therapy, their old ally, unearthed it. Jamie's savior complex, Alex's fear of fading into support. Sessions yielded tools, date nights reclaimed, boundaries like buoys. A sabbatical synced them, cross-country road trip in a rattling RV, chasing national parks, Mateo's whoops at geysers punctuating deep dives. Remember O'Hare? Jamie mused by Yellowstone firelight. Alex nodded. The hidden thing saved us, exposed the rot, grew the good. Career pinnacles intertwined. Alex's doc Oscar buzzed, Jamie keynoting at GLAAD, their speeches weaving personal tapestries, airports as metaphors for arrivals. But quiet crises brewed. Mateo's adoption finalized amid joy, but adolescence hit hard. Bullying at school, identity questions sharp as shards. Am I gay like you guys? Or, nothing. Hugs and hot chocolate bridged, but Alex saw echoes of his own youth, vowing vigilance. Robert's passing, swift from complications, gutted them. Funeral in Naperville, a mosaic of mourners, eulogies painting a man redeemed, ally, grandfather, flawed father who learned late but loved loud. Grief's wake reshaped. Claire moved east, bunking in their guest room, her hands arthritic but apt at pie crusts. Emily's divorce rocked ripples, custody shared with grace. Through it, Alex and Jamie anchored, vows renewed on their 10th, beachside with Mateo as witness, waves applauding. To more twists, Jamie toasted. And holding through. Legacy bloomed unexpected. A foundation in Robert's name, funding queer youth scholarships, first recipient a kid from Chicago with an envelope story of his own. Alex mentored, Jamie litigated, Mateo, now college-bound in film, scripted shorts that premiered family style. At 80, Gray fully claimed, they sat porches-eyed, hands laced, city evolved around them. The airport? A faded photo in an album, captioned where we began. Hidden no more, it whispered, love endures, prejudices perish, stories, told true, set us free.